Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here, your source for gaming, tech, emulation, and open source news. Let's get started. Alright, to kick things off, it's another absolutely gorgeous day outside. It was raining last night and I'm hoping that the rain is going to hold off while we can get through the news here. I think it will. But come along with me on my morning walk and let's talk some news. So first up on the docket here, we're talking about PlayStation 2 emulation with ARMS X2 or ARMS X2 or subscribe to Mr. Sujano, however you wanted to pronounce that. Anyways, we talked about ARMS X2 yesterday, and it turned out that one of the things we talked about was not true. So here's the note we read yesterday from the ARMS X2 Discord. That we have determined that devices with Mali or PowerVR GPUs performance will be much lower than Adreno GPUs, and the Vulkan renderer will not be available because they are missing crucial dual source blending feature set. It turns out that Vulkan is headed to ARMS X2. So I would say that's good news overall. And if you're interested and wanted to learn more about it, like everything we talk about, links are in the description below right at the bottom. I don't hide my sources. And for ARMS X2 at this point in time, there are no official releases up on GitHub. The only testing builds are on their Discord, and I'll drop a link to their Discord in the description below. Now, before we get into this next segment, unfortunately right now I don't have a fluff to showcase to you, but check out this sunrise. I mean, it's first thing in the morning and the sunrise right here is absolutely gorgeous. The tops of the trees are yellow and orange because of the sun. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful this time of day. Next up, we're shifting from something beautiful to something very heart-wrenching, and we're talking about the Game Chasers. And if you're a fan of the Game Chasers, or if you're just aware of the Game Chasers, you may want to check out their YouTube channel, as it appears that Billy is going through something very serious right now. I'll drop a link to the video in the description below so you can check it out. There's actually two there. One talking about a diagnosis of having a brain tumor, and the other one is shortly after surgery for having a bit of the tumor removed. So Billy seems to be in pretty serious condition, and I'm hoping that he pulls through and everything is okay. Well, I don't know him personally. I do wish him the best here, and hopefully it's a speedy recovery. Hopefully everything goes okay. He does seem to be in relatively good spirits, all things considered. I mean, he cracks a bit of a joke at the beginning of the update video. And he also takes the time to advise people that there is no official GoFundMe for him just yet, or maybe there won't be. But he takes the time to help people avoid being scammed, and that is a very stand-up thing. So my advice here is, if you are a fan of the channel, just go on over there and give him some well wishes. I couldn't imagine as to what he'd be going through right now, what his mental state is, and how he's coping and dealing with all of this, but it's certainly a lot to go through. Next up, we're talking about AYN, and if you're a fan of the AYN Odin or Odin 2, you might be excited about this announcement. The Odin 3 has just been revealed. Now, unfortunately, I don't know a whole lot about this device just yet. I don't know the release date. I don't know the price. I don't even know the specific specs. There's literally just a 35-second video on YouTube, and I do recommend checking it out if you're interested. What we do know, though, is it'll be powered by a Snapdragon CPU, which is no surprise. And also, it's going to have a pretty beefy cooling solution. In typical AYN fashion, I'm assuming we're going to know a lot more about the Odin 3 very soon. Let me know your thoughts about the Odin 3 in the comments below. And speaking about timelines and not knowing when something's going to happen, next up we're talking about the exact opposite. When we know something's going to happen, we're talking about Path of Exile 2. If you're a fan of Path of Exile 2, if you were thinking about getting into Path of Exile 2, now might be the perfect time to play, unless you're worried about server health. Now, this is happening this weekend, as in right now. They say to celebrate the launch of Path of Exile 2, the Third Edict, next Friday, August 29th, which is today. We're making the game free to play for the first time ever for 3 days on all available platforms. This includes the standalone client, Steam, Epic, Xbox, and PlayStation 5. Next up, we're talking about PlayStation 1 emulation with the fairly new PS1 emulator scePSX. And scePSX beta version 0.1.76 just dropped. So with this update, there seems to be some fixes and some brand new features and compatibility updates. So they've added MDEC cache to support games that don't reuse cache during FMV playback, like Vigilante 1 and 2 and Tom and Jerry In-House Trap. They've also added DMA wraparound to support games using out-of-bounds transfer addresses, like Vigilante 8. And there's a postpone feature here that's going to be available in version 0.1.8, which I'm assuming will be fairly-ish soon. fairly-ish soon, fairly soon-ish. That's a bit better way of saying it. Anyways here, texture replacement export functionality delayed until version 0.1.8. And speaking about delays, next up we're talking about the C64 Ultimate from Commodore, and there's a huge chance that this thing could be delayed. Now the reason behind this, and the bottom line, is basically tariffs. They say here a number of our prototype and test parts are being held in US customs due to a policy change that will take effect on August 29th. This new rule ends the exemption that previously allowed low-value imports to pass quickly through customs, and some carriers have already restricted shipments in response. Because key Commodore engineers are US-based and depend on these parts, this has slightly slowed the final stage of our Commodore 64 Ultimate development. And speaking about words that start with DEL, I mean, we just talked about delay and now we're talking about delisting. If you're a fan of some of the Egg console games on the Nintendo Switch, specifically Fray and Brandish Renewal, both of these games are getting delisted. So it appears that both games use an MS-DOS compatible PC98 emulator, MEG-DOS, which was developed by SPS and is now owned by M2. And I guess M2 did not give authorization for them to use this emulator. It does seem as if the Egg console developers are in talks with M2 to have these games restored on the eShop. And it also seems like the game Puyo Puyo for the PC98 was delisted as well, and that was also by Egg console. We'll have to wait and see what happens moving forward here, but this is probably, I would say, not a good look for Egg console games. And speaking about games and looks, next up we're talking about Max Payne 2. If you're a fan of Max Payne 2 and you're a fan of RTX stuff, you might be a big fan of this. Or if you're a fan of either independently. Anyways here, Digital Foundry, not Digital Foundry, has some new YouTube videos out there that showcase this with an RTX remix mod. Now, I'll be honest with you, I took a look at the video and it does seem a little off. Maybe that's just me. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'm assuming it's still early on in terms of getting everything to work and there's still a lot of work left to be done on it. We'll have to wait and see on that one. And speaking about stuff that looks off, next up we're talking about Huawei, and this might be a hot take. Huawei has just unveiled HyperOS 3.0, and taking a look at it, to me it looks a little bit weird and a little bit off. But at the same time, with the recent announcements from Google about their changes to Android, I'm assuming that Huawei, especially with HyperOS, stuff like this will become way more popular. If you are a fan of iOS or stuff that looks like iOS, you might be a fan of HyperOS. I mean, it's based on Android. Anyways here, HyperOS 3.0 beta is rolling out very soon to a whole bunch of different devices. And speaking about stuff rolling out in Android and iOS, next up we're talking about Destiny Rising. If you're a fan of Destiny, if you're a fan of mobile games, you might be excited to know that Destiny Rising has launched globally. This is a brand new game from NetEase, and apparently there are like 10 million pre-orders for it, or pre-registrations for it, or pre-signups for it. So taking a look on the Google Play Store right now, and Destiny Rising has a 3.8 star rating with over 500,000 downloads. And taking a look at some of the reviews, this person says here, I played Destiny since 2014, and this is one of the best mobile adaptation of a console game. Loved the gameplay and the cinematic experience. It's like you are in the game. And this person says, okay, I had this game registered. First impression, horrible. The first thing it shows me is that my software isn't compatible. This is trash. What game doesn't support a normal phone? It's a mobile game. Bad game, 1 star. That's crazy. Unfortunately, we've got no idea what phone they've got. It may be a banana or a potato with Android slapped on, who knows? And then there's this one here, not to put the tinfoil hat on. First thing the game did was copy my clipboard before it even started downloading 13.8 gigs of data. Red flag, uninstalled before the game even launched. This developer won't let me leave a review for one of their other games. Kind of sketchy all around if you ask me. So if you played Destiny Rising, let me know if it accessed your clipboard in the comments below, and let me know your thoughts about the game in the comments below. And last up here, we're talking about Ayaneo. And it appears that Ayaneo is unveiling yet another handheld here. This one is called the Code R. Unfortunately, we don't know a whole lot about this one just yet. Don't know the specs, don't know the prices, don't know what it even entails and what it even looks like. But the latest we have here is from a tweet, and they say, Code R, a new era of retro. When classic pixels meets modern technology, handheld gaming is redefined. Ayaneo's entry-level, high-value retro handheld is about to be unveiled. Not just a gaming device, but a legacy of an era. Very interesting. I'm assuming we're going to know about this one really soon, but if you've got any insights, any speculation as to what it might be and what it might cost, let me know in the comments below. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. I didn't see any rabbits or any deer or moose this morning. There are some loud squirrels around and some loud birds here and there, so maybe you heard some fluffs. And there were some chickadees flying around, but they weren't confident enough to land on my hand. Maybe we'll get them tomorrow. Anyways, we talked about a bunch today. Feel free to discuss anything we talked about in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button. Check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate. Save your estate.